What happened?
Are you okay?
How'd you injure
Wow,
yourself?
you've been on crutches for a while.
Did you break your
What
leg?
happened?
What
Do
happened?
you need help?
Are you okay?
Oh, what happened?
What happened?
Keep up the good work.
Are you okay?
You've been on crutches for a while. Is everything
Good
okay?
job, champ.
You're such an
I am
inspiration.
so impressed.
Are you okay? Please,
I hope your
please
leg
be
gets better
careful.
soon.
Oh, do you need help?
Feel better.
Feel better?
I
I
hope,
hope your leg gets better.
Who is the world built for? And how can design question, unmake, and then remake the built environment? What can a body do? And why does the statistical average come to define what's considered normal, or even desirable? What happens when bodies labeled as abnormal encounter designs created exclusively for the average? Disability isn't inherent, it's created by our surroundings. We're disabled by spaces, objects, expectations built for someone else's body. We quietly adapt and navigate this friction every day. Yet friction compounds, not only socially through invasive questions and assumptions, but physically. Every repeated question, every repeated movement leaves its mark, invisible yet tangible, worn into our clothing. Clothing is more than fabric. It silently absorbs our stories and differences. Often, it helps conceal how our bodies deviate from what's expected. But what if the inevitable friction from adaptive tools like wheelchairs or crutches sparked curiosity rather than disappointment? What if wear patterns weren't limitations but material storytelling? What if design could transform frustration into anticipation? Inspired by my own patterns of wear on my forearms from being a lifelong forearm crutch user, I began rethinking clothing degradation, not as loss, but as potential. Every worn-down area carried evidence of movement and adaptation. Knowing exactly where my sweaters would wear thin due to repeated forearm crutch use, I proactively embroidered patches beneath these areas beforehand. These patches, inspired by meaningful places to me, like Boston's Charles River where my family lives, transformed the friction of daily use into intentional, visible storytelling. In discussing my work with other physically disabled individuals, I began to understand that this issue is much bigger than just myself, and the practice of co-design became a central part of this exploration. Can you tell me about your wear pattern?
So for me, I'm a full-time manual wheelchair user. So the biggest thing for me in terms of like wear pattern is that shirts, sweaters, jackets, things like that. I will wear them out faster around like the waistband at the bottom, because it will kind of rub against the wheels and get caught. And then I would say also the elbows, just because I'm pushing a lot, just like around campus.
Can you tell me about your patches?
The patches on my elbows is kind of more abstract. The concept of like abnormal veins, which for me represents the rare disease that I have called the venous malformation. I wanted to find a way to like represent that. When I was a freshman in college at Northeastern, I went to the laundry room to do my laundry without my like compression garment on, which is what I usually wear. Basically, without that, I don't know, I guess my leg is pretty visually jarring for people. So I went down there to do my laundry, and this one girl saw me and saw my leg, and she like threw up and was like, "Oh my god, like this is your fault." Like, I don't remember all the details, but she was just really nasty.
Okay, first of all, the girl is very dramatic.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think it's that crazy, but all right.
Yeah. But I think it also talks a lot about like growing up around these societal
Mhm.
norms and what is considered like gross
Mhm.
is, whatever's not normal or whatever, quote unquote. I think that's so apparent in the way that these people kind of like interacted with you.
When anything's seen as abnormal, like in the body or on the body, it's so like
Mhm.
medicalized and pathologized. So I think that that patch is holds a special place in my heart, and I think it really captures like that experience, but in like a new light.
My third collaborator was Sarah, another close friend of mine and senior at Wes, whose experience and perspective shaped this work deeply. Can you tell me about your wear pattern?
So I have a lot of wear on my right hand cuff, like for long sleeve shirts or hoodies or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's because I have no right hand. Partially because I have like no hand. One practice that I have is like I pull down my sleeve a bit to like hide it or to be discreet about it. When I have a sleeve that's like going over my hand, like obviously like it gets in the way and like it like I'm rubbing against it with my hand, or when I wash my hands, like if there's someone nearby, sometimes like I don't want to pull up my sleeve and wash my hand or non-hand, and so sometimes I'll just let it get wet, and so like it just kind of it endures kind of the elements of me trying to be like discreet.
Sarah's patches required a different approach than Emma and my patches, as it was on the cuff edge and therefore needed to be structurally stronger and more durable.
Yeah, so my patch is gonna be like 3D printed, which is super cool. It's a way to reinforce the cuff, and like I think part of it's also like we're trying to make the wear something that's like not like something to be ashamed of.
It's like a subtle thing.
An elegant way of bringing attention to it. Like, well, because like obviously the reason why we're doing it is because I have a habit of hiding it, right? But like people will see it, and so that's like one way. Like if they say, "Oh, that's so cool," and I can be like, "Whip it out," you know, and be like, "Oh yeah, it's because it's blah, blah, blah."
But
or I could just be like, "Oh, it's a cool shirt, right?"
Exactly, yeah. And so I feel like in that way, it's like really nice that you do wear in this way, and so in wearing this way, you then show the pattern, and it's like you can choose when you want to divulge these things and when you don't.
I'm excited for this.
This exploration of 3D printed textiles became a turning point in my research, leading me to recreate a second version of mine and Emma's patches, using embroidered 3D printed textiles. These patches were more durable, but still maintained the handcrafted feel through delicate embroidery, helping to bridge the gap between practicality and personal storytelling. About 4 months into this project, I started to reflect on my work and its place within the clothing industry and disabled community. My patches could be seen as a literal band-aid to the larger symptom of clothing not being made to undergo such friction. I realized that this work needed a systems-level approach. To truly address clothing degradation, I had to rethink garment creation itself. I discovered a way to create durable string from the 3D printer and explored systematically reinforcing garments from their inception by knitting this 3D printed string in with the regular yarn. I knit sweaters for Emma, Sarah, and myself, embedding this 3D printed thread directly into high wear areas. This work became a proof of concept for manufacturing. Ultimately, this project returns to the fundamental question, who was the world built for, and how can we remake it? How do you wear isn't just about clothing. It's about highlighting the visible and invisible friction disabled bodies navigate daily. It's about reshaping narratives and redesigning our world to hold space for every body.